Older women, and when I talk about older women, we're talking
Hmm.
about from a marriage standpoint. That means women over 30. 30 years old is old to be contemplating a first marriage. Go to matchmakers, wedding planners, anybody will tell you that's just what it is. It's old to be planning a wedding. Okay? Like I said, we got to start calling things what they are. And again, what do I heard a woman talking about the wall, that men hit the wall too, and how, if you're a black woman, the wall isn't the wall for you.
All right, let me just stop right here. So, of course, I'll be stopping as I go along. Okay, so the whole idea of being over 30, I think what Kevin is saying that after 30, your sexual peak, and we kind of have been talking about this in mainstream these days. But after you touch 30, it is obvious that you start to have pregnancy complications. You probably formed a lot of opinions by then. Yeah, some have a very high body count by that point in time, so you become like just less desirable. And I think that he's right on that, because of course, hey, once she touch 30, she thinks she started to know more than anything else. She doesn't really and truly want to listen, and it makes it harder for you to kind of have her as a partner. So I get where he's going exactly with that. Hitting the wall at 30, the wall, you know what I mean? And no, I don't believe that, men can kind of hit the wall like that, like what women actually think. Women just, beauty is what it really and truly is. When it comes down to it, it really comes down to beauty.
This notion that you can make up rules to suit you just because you, again, notice how when women like this begin to speak, they want to change things because they've aged past. See, when you still have time, you don't care. Somebody, if you're 22, somebody says the wall, you're not really sweating it. But when you're 29 and somebody says the wall, then you got a problem with the concept of the wall. Why?
I like this, and I'm gonna show you why. Because that's exactly why Tia Murray has been having the issues that she's been having. Because of course she thought that she was gonna come back out, and men will just be flocking and rushing her down. But this is what a guy is gonna think about this. If your husband could have stuck with you during all of that time, and he was a great husband, but he was not enough, then what makes you believe that I'm going to do any better than he can actually do? Like, what's going to be enough then for you? And I think that that's exactly, that encompasses a part of the wall in itself. you know um it's like what women want to do is go around here and take a bunch of dinglings, you know what I mean? And then while taking a bunch of those dinglings, then to say, oh well, you know what, it's fine, who, hey, I've had, I don't know, 50 or 70 in me, and you can be 71, and it's so special for you to be 71. but but we all know how that works. I mean, you wouldn't, again, the car analogy just fits perfectly, because you wouldn't be having a whole 100 and something thousand miles car and be thinking that it's like a brand new car, and you could go anywhere with it, like you could be driving around the whole of USA with it, you know what I mean? You just wouldn't believe that. Or Jamaica.
Because you wasted those years.
Hmm.
The wall exists for a reason. The wall exists for a reason. Yeah, Derek Jackson graduated high school in 2007. Yeah, that's another thing. I gotta say, I'm looking at you women with a side eye who really listen to what he says. He just turned 30, and especially older women listening to him, you know, you should know better.
That's true. You do have some guys on here who are leading like older women astray, and that is actually true. Instead of like, the older you get, I feel like as a man, where you're past like 30, 35, you should now start to get very honest, versus, I mean, peering in and, kind of positioning yourself to women, or simping yourself out then, because you should know better that, what I mean, as to what you're actually requiring at that point in time. And so it's kind of funny how, people try to lie to women, I'm trying to peer in as much as they possibly can to women. Remember, when Steve Harvey's talking to women, Steve Harvey's a married man. So that's the thing. And he's been married for a very long time with his wife. Same thing with Denzel Washington and all of these other guys that are giving all this advice. They are people who, no, they're not. They're not going to be getting a 35, 36, 37-year old just right like that if there's a readily and available 25-year-old out there. They just won't. They just won't do it. So they'll make it seem like that's what they're gonna do, but they're not. And so it's weird that they're the ones that you have these women actually who are listening to. And so you have them just getting bad advice. At the end of the day, you do have some men have to get the man them some flack for that. They do give the women terrible advice.
Tired of these females who cooked after 30. I'm gonna say it like that. Cooked.
Okay, so you're personally attacking me, so I would like to
How am
know.
I attacking?
You see how she took the shot? Did you see exactly how Randy took that shot? Why did she take the shot? Because she's past 30. She has a kid, right? And so now she feels she can feel that. That is her conscience talking, because she has now feel that, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not actually going to happen because it's really tough now. Listen, if you've sat down and you've listened to Randy on different platforms, because I think that's her name. If you listen to Randy on platforms, as a man, it would be tough for you to be venturing in on a person like Randy with a child and with all the mouth that she possibly has, because you're gonna get it. You're just gonna run into it with her. You can tell from the onset that she's combative, but hey, it could just be her, what you call it, her podcast stance. Because sometimes people do that too. They do these things for like kicks, and you know what I mean, just to try to get like a podcast stance, I guess.
Because
You.
I'm after 30, so I'm cooked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 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 Listen.
I'm
Yes,
crying.
dog. Listen, dog. Guys is over here like, yo, prime is 25 to 30. Let's keep it 100.
But let me say this. I hear exactly what you're saying, right? I've heard it before. People have said it. Women age like milk, men age like fine wine. I've heard it 1,000 times, right? For me personally, I'm going to say this. Me, maybe I am cooked, but you know what? I'm cooked and it tastes delicious.
To who? Tastes delicious to who? When Randy says it tastes delicious to who? Listen, I think what these women are mixing up is a guy coming by just to get some pum pum versus a guy who is going to stay and actually marry you. And that's it. It's these influencers who are making it seem as though, yeah, some dude is going to come and just wife you up after, I don't know, being, the 101 guy. And it's not true unless him really and truly find something special about you. You know what I mean? It just is terrible. And the funny thing is, it's starting to spread not just here in the States, but it actually is spreading into a culture like a Jamaican culture. Because, it is spreading to Jamaican culture just the same and all of the other Western cultures. This is exactly what is peering into them. Making it think them have a chance at a certain point in time. No. More women are being born and they're getting hotter. They're younger and they can have kids. And some of these ladies cannot have kids. Like after a period of time, the eggs them don't work. So it doesn't make you very desirable, especially when a man is looking now at that point in time. Say, all right, you know what? Let me settle on. Let me find a little wife who hasn't been running the streets, who everybody hasn't had, because God forbid women just hold on to the pum pum a little bit more. God forbid, but hey, she said not her. She said she cook and she tastes good. That's what she said. So she's saying she tastes good to who? To who? To other women? To herself? I don't know. Maybe she can clarify.
Because I was not given what I needed to give when I was in my 20s. I didn't know my body. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know how to throw it back. Now I could do all of those things plus more. I understand who I am as a woman. My emotional maturity is here.
That doesn't matter. Okay, all of the other things that she's talking about, a man will prefer to get a young girl and train her for himself. And because to him, he's getting to train her the way that he wants her to train. It's what the woman not understanding. No, men don't want to be coming with all of this experience. Men would rather take a virgin who no one has touched, and know that he's the only one that has gone there. For Pete's sake. Listen, men are looking for women who are exclusive. When you're saying you don't know all of these various things, come on. That man wanted to learn those things with you. The truth is, he wanted to actually learn art. He want to learn you, just like how you want to learn you. He wants to be going through that process of learning you with you, versus you coming to him ready-made. All the buttons have already been pressed, all the bells and whistles have been done. To him, it feels like he's gotten the what left. Some other guy has that experience, and I think that is exactly what a person like Randy is not understanding. I'm not business about all of that. He doesn't care. He just absolutely does not care. He wants to be the first. Men love to be the first. We can tell you that right off of the bat. And if I'm lying, the guys can go in the comments right now and tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. That you don't want to be the first. You want somebody else to test up before you. Tell me that.
And at the end of the day, I know that it feels like there's women who are jaded because they've been with so many men and now they're cooked. I understand that perspective. But personally, for me, I feel so into my bag as a 30-year-old because.
And then after 34, 35, man, think about this.
Hold on. Before you even get there. So what? Like, can somebody please explain to women that men don't really care about your bag? And I'm gonna tell you exactly why. Because we cannot get the bag anyways. And the moment something happens, you're going to take up your ball and leave. Like, that's just what women have been used to. Men understand that they must get him own bag. I'm talking about men who actually want to get them thing done. Him don't want to depend on you because he knows that one wrong move and then all of a sudden, hey, God forbid him not get fed, him not get clothed. Plus, he has an innate ability to want to work anyways. So this thing of trying to advertise the whole idea of the bag and thinking that the bag is something that, some guys coming after the bag. No, guys are not. But they always make it seem as though this is exactly what's happening out here. Is another one of those women who would try to tell them an entrepreneur or them or whatever, job that they want to come up with. And, I make 6 figures. Okay, so no one cares if you make 6 figures. We don't care. We honestly don't care. Men want an ambitious woman, sure. They want a woman that is very productive, sure. But he knows that you're going to keep most of the money for yourself for the most part. I'm not saying women don't actually spend, but for the most part, I'm going to keep the money.
When I cook some food, all right, it's cooked, right? Now I ate some, then it's leftovers. Then I put it in the refrigerator. After so many days, you got to throw it out. You know what I'm saying?
This is crazy.
It's like I said, I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Yes, I believe that after 30, you really and truly as a woman are, you're kind of cooked, to be very, very fair. I don't think Paul is lying. Paul is not lying. Like, women don't understand that at that period of time, it's tough. You start getting in geriatric pregnancy, all of that, what I mean? You're starting to wonder now, all right, does she know too many things? Has she seen too many stuff? I don't know. The fellas probably in the comments can tell you, what I mean? And they can tell the women, have you ever seen like a woman who know everything? Where to a period of time, you're like, dang, I can't even, there's nothing special. That matters to a man as well. I don't think women understand this. There is a time when you become so, I don't know, worn out, that if that's the term you want me to use, harsh or not, but it becomes so worn out that you've already seen it. What I mean? It's like a car that you've driven for so much time and it's done just everything. So you can't even say, okay, I'm going to be the first one to do a whole donut. You cannot even say that with a straight face. I don't know where women are going with this whole idea that, thinking that chasing down the bag is like the ultimate thing first, because when them chase the bag down, they're going to get the man. That's like a whole thing that a man would actually do. A man would get the bag first and then try to get the woman. Because that's how it's supposed to work, eh? But as Randy said, she probably is cooked, well enough for her. I don't know what she's talking about. I feel like Paul is on this. I see why the post has been, I see why the content has been giving so much engagement, because a lot of people talking about it right now. The whole idea of women being cooked, past 30. Of course I'm cooked. You cook. You goose. Roasted duck, pretty much, if you ask me. Men want things that are younger, man. It's just what it is. Like, I don't know how else to root it. But hey, let me know what y'all think. Are women cooked? After 30, are they cooked? Are men cooked after 30? I don't think so. Man, come on. If it was so, then guys who are like what in their 60s, all these sugar daddies wouldn't have all these young girls. And believe me, I've seen have some girls, and I'm like, dude, how did he bag that? But hey, you can bag it. All you need is just some money. That's pretty much it. Some girls, it's easy. Because they want it, the lifestyle, especially now where they want a Gucci bag and some from Prada. Come on. So maybe they could ask the question, are they cooked after 30? Let me know what y'all think. Hey, keep on keeping it real and keeping it real. Talk to y'all soon.